Ronda Rousey has made her debut in Tony Khan's Ring of Honor promotion, proving that she has more in common with CM Punk than Shayna Baszler. Ronda Rousey worked in WWE for 2 stints, both of which she left before the duration of her contract was over because she wasn't particularly happy there, and now Tony Khan is going all guns blazing to try and get the deal over the line to move Ronda Rousey into a women's division that has not been firing on all cylinders. Meanwhile, this is causing issues for other women in the division, such as the deal he's trying to make happen for Mercedes Mone. Mercedes Mone previously was harmed by the return of Ronda Rousey to WWE because Mercedes, under the name Sasha Banks, was to be beating Charlotte Flair for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania, a spot that instead went to Ronda Rousey. It's time to talk about Ronda Rousey, to say why she left the way she did and when she did, how she was able to break her contract so easily, and why she is still one of the most sought after women in wrestling. After essentially saying she wasn't interested anymore, she's suddenly back on that horse. Hit like on the video and stay tuned for exclusive news on what happened for Ronda Rousey in the WWE and her next steps potentially with AEW. We start with the 2018 Royal Rumble, when Ronda Rousey debuted, sharing a ring with Charlotte Flair, Asuka, and at the time, Alexa Bliss. However, it was all about Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte, as we'll make clear soon. What I will say is that the WWE, with Ronda Rousey, had a tendency to rush everything. Ronda Rousey said she didn't know WWE Royal Rumble role until 10 minutes prior. She was travelling at the time, and as she says, I didn't know what I was doing today until probably 10 minutes before I came out. I also want to draw, for future reference, special attention to this line. This is not a smash and grab, this is not a publicity stunt. Trust me when I say we'll be coming back to this one. From the Bleacher Report, we now go to The Sun, reporting that Ronda Rousey, UFC star, signs full-time for WWE after making sensational Royal Rumble appearance. Full-time was basically what we got. We cannot argue that point. Ronda Rousey, after this image with the champions and Asuka, really did pretty much go straight into the ring full-time, signing a deal with Stephanie McMahon, and, as we said here, this is my life now, first priority on my timeline for the next several years. The initial deal was reported to be a 3-year stint. I disputed that at the time, stating that she was only going to be wrestling for 12 months. History thankfully has borne that out. You see, Ronda Rousey was brought in for one reason and one reason alone, to get a female main event for WrestleMania 35. The original plan was for Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte, and that's the reason that Ronda Rousey and Charlotte were both in that ring during her arrival at the Royal Rumble. It's also the reason that Charlotte Flair defeated Asuka at that year's WrestleMania. We were building towards Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, and we would have got there too, if not for the fact that Becky Lynch was so damn impossible to ignore. We fast forward a year, we go to the New York Post, and we see that she did fulfill that role. WWE ends WrestleMania 35 in most fitting and controversial way possible. Becky Lynch truly is the man in WWE now, but not without a bit of controversy. Now, this is largely around the botch in the WrestleMania 35 finish. While this was a huge moment for women's wrestling in the WWE, I should point out there were a few more issues with it as well. The match, which started around midnight, not a great place for it, closed a show that saw Kofi Kingston defeat Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins top Brock Lesnar, and Kurt Angle lose his retirement match to Baron Corbin. John Cena even interrupted Elias's performance in his old Doctor of Thugonomics persona during the 7+ hours of action. There is a reason shortly afterwards WrestleMania went to 2-night affairs instead. While the botch was a key affair, the event was still celebrated. WrestleMania 35 makes history with all female headliners. Though the final WrestleMania 35 bout was criticised on social media, the event made history when Becky Lynch earned both the Raw and WWE Women's SmackDown Championship belts. You can tell this person doesn't watch too much wrestling. Note that they also say the nearly 7-hour event. On top of the timing botch and the botch pin, which we'll get to in a moment, Ronda Rousey broke her hand during the WrestleMania 35 main event. She essentially did it by punching a ring post too hard. The commitment is completely unquestionable. To focus on this line here, the main event at WrestleMania 35 was scheduled to be Rousey's last with WWE at least for a while. Her loss to Lynch and the broken hand guarantees that. There's a number of different things that guarantee that. First and foremost, she was already scheduled to lose to Charlotte Flair, and when I say she was scheduled for 12 months, not the 3 years that was reported, this is further evidence of that. If we go to the Forbes coverage, you're going to see a familiar name. Several reports indicate Becky Lynch-Ronda Rousey ending was botched. Now, there's a couple of different reports on this one that are worth covering. A lot of these are from, for example, Give Me Sport here, saying not the ending anyone expected and Ronda's shoulders weren't on the mat for the whole 3 count, but who cares, right? We also go to Twitter user Lindsay Fulton, who says, I didn't even realise the ref was counting when they rung the bell for Becky. Certainly exhaustion at 7 hours and the fact that the pin was not a 3 count, very telling. We then go to wrestling journalist Kristen Ashley, quoting myself, stating, I've been told by different people in different positions within WWE that was a plan. It sure looks like they've just botched the main event of WrestleMania. Accidents happen, the ref continued to count after a kick out, he hasn't delayed between the 2 and 3 like they're supposed to, and Becky hasn't let go in time for Ronda to kick out. A number of different factors, all contributing to the biggest botch in WrestleMania history. Coincidentally, one of my biggest moments as well. The growth that I received immediately after that saw me get quite a few job offers in the wrestling sphere. Subscribe if you haven't already, we're about to start getting into Ronda Rousey's second, much more disastrous run. After she left WrestleMania 35, the narrative started to be written regarding Ronda Rousey. This is from Sportsnet.ca. WWE misses Ronda Rousey. Hasn't set foot in a WWE ring since the main event of 35. Concluded her first year in the wrestling business that evening with a triple threat. In Rousey's lone year as a performer on the WWE roster, she displayed a fantastic aptitude for the ring, learning extremely quickly, which led to a championship victory. She didn't learn quickly leading to a championship victory. She did learn quickly, but the championship victory came within months of arriving in the WWE. She'd essentially gone from 4 months between her debut and her championship win. That's not learning quickly, that's been gifted the opportunity. Fans soured on Rousey in the months leading up to Mania 35, which never made a lot of sense to me, this being the writer. Fans seem to think, and I'm going to stop reading there, a fan interpreting fans to be different to what a fan thinks is not real life. Provide evidence or tell me nothing. We go then to Ronda Rousey herself. She has RondaRousey.com to essentially aid the coverage of her. Ronda Rousey looks back at her WWE debut at the Royal Rumble. Very telling here is the instructions that Ronda Rousey was actually given going into the Royal Rumble. She asked, what should I do? Should I do anything? Should I shake anybody's hand? What should I do? Essentially asking, should I act as a face? Ask as a heel. What she was told is, just feel it, do whatever you want. When you go out there, stay out there, take a moment to just register everything that's happening. Whatever you're feeling, just let it show on your face. That's it. Go over there. Stephanie will be over here at the announcer's table. Should I go over there? Should I sit here? She did not get clear instruction as to what she was doing in the wrestling world. If you're trying to say someone learned quickly, it's probably not a great thing when she then said she wasn't taught anything. They sign off in quite a fun way. You said Triple H pretty much told you just feel it when you got out there. What exactly were you feeling? I felt like I had no clue what I was doing. Do you think the crowd thought you knew what you were doing? Nobody knows. Everybody thinks I don't know what I'm doing in the ring. Exclusive, Ronda Rousey doesn't know what she's doing. No clue. What this points to as much as anything is a lack of training. Not really mentioned here, as a part of this lack of training is a world of concussions that Alexa Bliss picked up in matches with Ronda Rousey. This has been confirmed by Nia Jax, but also by the lack of Alexa Bliss wrestling over that period in time. The WWE in general were worried about her and actually told her she wouldn't be competing at the top level because they didn't want to put pressure on her. Ronda Rousey, unfortunately, took Alexa Bliss out of wrestling for quite a prolonged period. In many ways, Ronda Rousey, still raw in the world of experience in wrestling, was just being used by the WWE to get what they wanted, and then she leaves. Despite leaving the company in 2019, Ronda Rousey would continue to be connected for a prolonged period. She would make many visits to Titan Towers, speaking specifically with Vince McMahon about the potential for a return. The WWE has history of this. They check in. They're still actively checking in with Mercedes Mone, by the way. There's an exclusive and a little bit of a thank you for sticking around so long in the video. Make sure to watch to the end. We go to Fox Sports now. WWE Royal Rumble 2022 social media reacts. The baddest woman on the planet is back, and she is your 2022 Women's Royal Rumble winner. Mick Foley saying Ronda versus Becky at WrestleMania, yeah, I can get behind that. That's not what we got. In fact, Ronda Rousey herself was not a fan of her return in 2022 before we even factor in the opinion of fans. She essentially received quite a warm reception, but was it warm enough? Ronda was brought back as a babyface, but she's recently revealed this wasn't the original plan, as she was supposed to be presented as a heel. Speaking to Daniel Cormier in the DC check-in, Rousey explained she wasn't expecting to receive the reaction she got so she didn't enjoy her return as much as she otherwise would have. I was expecting boos. I came out of my guard up, and I think I didn't get to enjoy that moment because I was expecting it, because that's what I got on the way out. When I came out and everyone cheered, I blocked them out and didn't let them in, went in, did my job and got out. I think I missed out on really enjoying that moment because I was expecting the worst in people. That's how the WWE Universe gets you. We were told earlier that the fans had soured on Ronda Rousey, but certainly they seemed willing to give her the benefit of the doubt at first. Unfortunately, this also didn't last, with Ronda Rousey lasting in the WWE until SummerSlam a year and a half later. Ronda Rousey historically has proven that she cannot last more than a brief amount of time and anything over a year, and she's itching to get out. She was briefly a tag team champion, she was briefly a women's champion, she worked with a variety of people such as Liv Morgan and Shotzi, trying to give them opportunities, but the matches are not warmly remembered, and then she wanted out, and she wanted out fast. And to be clear, she burned some bridges on her way. Ronda Rousey is done with WWE after losing to Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam, with the former UFC star now a free agent less than 2 years since her return. Regular spoiler warning viewers will be aware of two things. Firstly, I reported 2 weeks before the Royal Rumble that the WWE were in talks to have her return, the first person to report so. And secondly, I reported that there were a number of hard-out clauses in Ronda Rousey's contract allowing her to leave pretty much whenever she damn well chose. And she damn well chose. This was not part of the WWE's plan. She made a conscious decision to walk away, evoking memories of that CM Punk reference I made at the start of the video. But wait, there's more! The media and sports media world went into overdrive when Ronda Rousey left the WWE with constant speculation. Will Ronda Rousey return to UFC in 2023, and why did she retire? WWE star linked with comeback as Dana White addresses return. This is from TalkSport, and to be clear, it's not what they say it is. I'm not sure how you can say she's linked with a return because of Dana White when Dana White actually said, there's no shot. She's accomplished everything she set out to do. Her dream was to win a UFC championship, then win a WWE championship, and she's done it. Now she's starting a family. To be clear, we know that Dana White said there's no shot. So if we go back to the headline, WWE star linked with comeback as Dana White addresses return. That's a misleading headline. The idea of going to the UFC from WWE seemed especially ridiculous when you consider that TKO now manages both WWE and the UFC. Her best chance of returning to UFC was to stay in the WWE. There is talk now of contracts for people like Brock Lesnar where they can work both companies. Why wouldn't Ronda Rousey want that if she wanted to return to the UFC? No, she left for a reason, and let me talk about what that reason is. Via Wrestling Inc., Ronda Rousey made a surprise return to the ring since seemingly bowing out of WWE at SummerSlam 2023. Seemingly? Really? The impromptu appearance came at a Lucha Vavoom show at the Mayan Theater in Los Angeles, California, as Rousey teamed with AEW star Marina Shafir to take on Taya Valkyrie and Brian Kendrick in a tag team match. Brian Kendrick, for those who don't know, is the one who trained Ronda Rousey to wrestle. But it's not just about that she returned, it's who she returned for. Wrestling Observer. Ronda Rousey debuts for Ring of Honor in a tag team match. Ring of Honor, a company owned by Tony Khan that worked directly with All Elite Wrestling, the biggest competitor at current to the WWE. Rousey was the mystery partner for Marina Shafir against Ring of Honor Women's Champion Athena and Billie Starkz in a match that is assumed to be airing on Ring of Honor TV this Thursday, coming out to Joan Jett's bad reputation as she had in WWE. We're not going to ignore the fact that somebody spent considerable money to buy the rights to use that theme for Ronda Rousey. Fightful Select provided an update behind their paywall, stating that she's not currently signed to the promotion and is working on a handshake deal. That shouldn't surprise anyone. Tony Khan would have screamed it from the rooftops. There are some that speculated she was going to be the major signing being teased by Tony Khan. As we now know, that was Will Ospreay. Sources indicate that Tony Khan has been interested in bringing in Ronda Rousey for a long time, particularly after her first stint in the WWE, but before her second. There is talk of a contract offer for a considerable amount of dates and a considerable amount of money already being on the table. However, Tony Khan has history of this, and it could cause some serious unsettling for a number of people. I've reported previously on Spoiler Warning that what seemed a sure hit, that Mercedes Mone would be signing with AEW, is no longer as sure as it once was. Tony Khan, though, not giving up. Just 5 hours ago at time of recording, Tony Khan would love to have Mercedes Mone in AEW and quoted, "I think the world of her." This is via SE Scoops. He is quoted as saying, "She was at All In and it was great having her as part of the show. I have a ton of respect for Mercedes Mone. We'd love to have her any time in AEW. She's had great experience also with our partner New Japan Pro Wrestling, so she would be a great addition to AEW anytime, and we'd always love to have her here. I have a ton of respect for her and have had great conversations with her, and I think the world of her. If not for her injury, Mercedes Mone was already expected to have signed for AEW." Wrestle Talk, in fact, are already generating quite misleading headlines. Future Mercedes Mone AEW feud revealed. Well, it can't be. 1, she's not signed, and 2, how can you point out future feuds? Let's find out. TBS champion Chris Statlander has said she's ready for Mercedes Mone and speculation about Mone potentially joining AEW. Let's see if she volunteered that information or if she was specifically asked about it. During the All Out post-show, Statlander noted that the women's division is prepared for the challenge, noting that she'd accept Mone's challenge if she wanted a TBS title match. "We're willing to accept anybody that wants to step our way and put us to the test. And as a champion, I know there's always a target on my back. So if she wants to step up to me, I'm ready for her." She doesn't name Mercedes Mone, so she was asked about it. That's not a future feud revealed. The potential signings of both Mercedes Mone and Ronda Rousey add to quite a significant collection of talent for Tony Khan, including the recently signed Maria May. They have Abaddon, Anna Jay, Athena, Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter, Julia Hart, Chris Statlander, Layla Hirsch, Maria May, Mercedes Martinez, Nyla Rose, Penelope Ford, Red Velvet, Ruby Soho, Saraya, Sky Blue, Tay Conti, Taya Valkyrie, Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm and Willow Nightingale, all in a position to work the women's division, and yet they seem historically to manage at most 1 women's match per event. Their women's division needs development, not people. That said, if Ronda Rousey is available, how do you ignore somebody at that level? Well, the biggest warning sign is that she's a proven flight risk from the WWE in much the same way as CM Punk was, and I think we all remember what happened with CM Punk. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Ronda Rousey joining AEW, but in the meantime, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I've been Tom Colohue, and I'll see you very soon.